This will be the start of a three-show series focusing on obstacles that women have to deal with when they start their hunting journey. Maria, why don't you start? Just say a little short thing about yourself, just to get so other people can get acquainted with you, and then we'll go on through. And I don't, because I don't know who knows who, and we'll just start from there.
Yeah. Okay, Bob. Hi, I'm Maria Cristoforo, relatively new hunter. So this is my second year, but I've really enjoyed the clinics that I've been able to attend, hosted, I think mostly by the Virginia Hunter Education Program, run by the state. So I've actually done a couple clinics that Wendy's been an instructor at. So and that's how I met Megan and Stephanie and Christy. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Hey, Wendy, you want to share a little bit about you?
Sure. I'm Wendy Hyde. I am currently in the northern neck of Virginia area, and transplanted from northern Virginia, which was a completely different hunting environment, and been hunting as a family member for 35 years. Husband really mentored me on my way up through the experience, and then we had children two daughters that then I helped with that process in. So it's been a generational thing for us, and that turned into teaching hunter education, and I've been doing that for about 13 years. And so I met Maria at one of the Hunter Ed Association mentored hunts, and Megan, and they're getting to be real regulars at those events. So it's neat to see a network of ladies that's connected and that is going out and doing things together. That's a lot of the fun for me.
And what I hear, you're an excellent cook. I haven't had a chance to taste it yet, but you're an excellent cook. Mike's
I do. I teach culinary education at a local community college, and I have a website that features game recipes. And I'm always adding stuff there and playing around with the different kinds of proteins. So the two things I love to do the most have aligned. So I get to cook and hunt and make the most out of both of those interests. So I'm fortunate.
Yeah, Mike Norcus brags about it, and then he actually teases me about it too, especially when we're down in Appomattox. Anyway, all right, Megan.
Hey everyone, so I'm Megan. So I just moved back to the DMV, Northern Virginia area last year. So I had the chance to do a mentored hunt in Maryland, since it's not too far. So really had a great experience with that. And then, like Wendy said, I've been able to attend quite a few clinics throughout the northern and central Virginia regions that have really helped, just get me better with skills and just more knowledge overall, to keep hunting and to, eventually work up to doing everything on my own.
Nice. Okay, last but not least, Candace.
Hey everyone, Candace Williams. I'm from Texas. I live in South Texas, but I've kind of hunted all over. Currently hunt in Central Texas, or what's known as the Texas Hill Country. I grew up fishing with my mom and dad a lot outdoor stuff, but never really had the opportunities for hunting. I started in about 2007 or 8 with my ex-husband. And we both really got into archery, and I've been doing that since. And now me and my current husband are also big bow hunters. That's what we do like 99% of the time. And so just been trugging along in the hot summer of Texas, waiting for the cooler weather so maybe the deer start moving.
One of the last shows we had, it was with Maria and two of your friends, right? It was just two of them. So Chrissy and oh shoot, I forgot the other one. Stephanie. Yep. And we had a very good conversation on, how they got started and what keeps them going and all that stuff. And we got into the point of a topic that I was really interested in is, what kind of obstacles that you guys would have to try to overcome being a woman trying to get into hunting. Okay. And yes, even in 2020 something, we're having problems with some people don't think women should hunt. Okay. I'm not one of those. Okay. So, you know, Maria, you guys really didn't have a whole lot of issues. Megan, I didn't get to talk to you, and I've never talked to you about it, Wendy. But Candace and I, we were up in Maine at a bear hunt. So, well, you were the only lady out of 13 people, right? But
It made for interesting bathroom times.
yeah, yep, I will say that. But it was fun. It was really fun. But you had a story because you told me how you got started and what you all had to do and all that stuff, and that story really stuck with me. And that's when I said, you know what, we need to have you tell that story, and then maybe it'll spark other stories from the rest of the crew. Okay, so here in a minute, I'm going to have Candace tell her story. Okay, on that whole idea of what kind of issues you guys had to deal with and all that. But I did some research not too long ago, and this is a nationwide thing. Women in hunting is actually one of the fastest growing groups of all. When you talk, getting hunters, hunting license and stuff like that. So out of all the different groups there are, women, it was like 46% of the hunting license that are sold today is sold to women.
I knew the gun purchases had gone up, but that's good to hear that a lot of the hunting licenses and stuff like that has also been on the increase as well.
Yeah, it's getting close to that 50% mark, and it's rising. When I did a trend over time, it was right. But yeah. Okay, so Candace, why don't you share that story? I think you shared a couple stories with me of things that you had to endure during your journey into the hunting world.
Okay. I'll leave that story kind of for the last because I want to touch on a couple of other things that I kind of thought about when you brought up the topic. And I kind of broke it down into two categories of obstacles. There's just unintentional obstacles, and then there's intentional obstacles that I know I've had to deal with. Probably most women have had to deal with the unintentional ones. The bows, the compound bows that were out there were a lot larger. They didn't have smaller axle to axle bows available, or lighter bows for women and stuff like that. So that eventually has come around, and now I don't think they even know how to keep up with all the new technology that they're trying to push out for this bow and that bow, and there's a new one every year. But eventually they've come around and made some smaller axle to axle bows with lower draw lengths or adjustable bows to where they can start, as a beginner, and it can grow with you. You can increase the draw weight, the draw length, and so on and so forth. So that was kind of the first obstacle because my first bow was not, there was an actual women's bows, if you want to call it that, in that category. I got the smallest axle to axle one that they had for my size and everything. The second unintentional one that has made just absolute leaps and bounds is the clothing for women. If I go back and look at some of my pictures when I first started hunting, I was wearing boys and youth large and extra large pants and shirts and everything, just trying to make things fit because they didn't have, a lot of pieces that were functional for women. And especially just in your big box stores, if you have an academy or before, a lot of the online companies came out and you could order clothes online as much and everything. So that was kind of always a big hindrance because I would wear jeans a lot of the times and just throw on a camo shirt and it just, it worked, but some of the functional pieces that they have now for different weather and stuff like that. They've made incredible leaps and bounds on that. So that's kind of the initial obstacles that I faced. Now
let me stop
go
you
ahead.
there. The reason why I laughed is because that was one of the main things that Maria and the other two ladies mentioned also.
Okay.
It was top of their list, wasn't it, Maria?
Oh yeah, I think we probably had a 5-minute conversation about pockets. You know?
Pockets are important.
Like, oh, those hunting pants are nice. Oh, it has pockets.
Yeah, they've made major strides in that. Especially if you're, for archery, the sleeves being tapered for, so your bowstring doesn't hit it and stuff like that. When you're wearing like an oversized shirt, just, to make it fit lengthwise, you have giant sleeves and it gets in the way of archery hunting quite often. And just everything just fitting properly to try and get in a tree stand safely and put a harness on or whatever. So that's awesome that for the newer hunters, like you're getting some better quality gear for sure now versus way back when.
I think I think the price point for women's clothing is still pretty high, though. Maybe because the market is not as broad as it is for the men's wear, but it seems that a lot of the stuff that's geared towards women's figures is still very expensive. So hopefully that will change as the numbers of female hunters increase. But I have really kind of made my old stuff last because the new stuff is just it's a real investment, some of it.
Yes, that is true. And I mean, I've bought everything from, just some basic off the rack stuff at your big box stores to have invested in some better quality stuff. I will say that those pieces, although they cost more, they are going to last a very long time. And if you are hunting in, more extreme weather, it ends up being worth what you're buying in order to just layer a few times and have good quality gear. But I agree, the price point is still a little high on a lot of it.
And I'll say for me too, I mean, it's great that they have the gear out there, but for what's important for me is making sure I can actually try it on, and that it fits because, there's just the different fits. And so depending on what store you go to, even though they have a decent selection, they might only have styles that fit a certain, type, and then might not fit you. So for me, it's great that they have stuff out there, but, there's still always a little bit of improvement to just actually have the actual selection on hand to try it, make sure it fits and make sure it's good for you.
Yeah, we're making it. We're getting there eventually, hopefully.
So Candace,
Yeah.
what are some of the women's lines that you're looking at?
So I have a lot of First Light gear because I like the merino wool. And I was actually blessed a long time ago when I did a little bit of stuff in the hunting industry to work with them and did some reviews for them. And they were actually able to kind of send me sample sizes to try because most of their stuff was online. First Light is just, I like their patterns. I like their fit. I like the function of it. And those are the pieces that I've invested in for cold weather gear. And then Prois is another women-owned company that they make good women's clothing. I think it was the Bass Pro and Cabela's that sold the Redhead brand. That was one of my favorites starting out because their price points were pretty reasonable. I don't know if they still have that in their stores, but they made really good quality stuff that wasn't really going to break the bank. You weren't going to spend $200 on a pair of pants. You could probably get a good pair of insulated pants for, $80 or something for some cold weather gear. I'm trying to think of some other ones, but those are kind of the top three off the top of my head. And if Redhead's not around, I'm trying to think who else has another brand out there. But First Light's really good, and they usually do some sales. They're still a little bit behind on some of the women's clothing. I've actually tried to reach out to them via social media and stuff and be like, can you please, add this or something? But they're a more northern country company, so they cater to a lot more of your colder weather stuff, which benefit y'all, not so much for us Texans that sweat it out all summer. But those I think are kind of some of the major ones that
What was that?
I've had good success with. I'm sorry.
What was that second one again?
Prois, Prois.
Okay. Just taking notes. I was going to put this stuff in the description.
And oh, I know the other one. It's DSG, I think is what it is. It's actually doing something good. And they promote a lot of good women's fit and stuff like that. I think they have a pretty good size chart and stuff like that on there too. I would also recommend on any of these companies, you can always probably reach out to them and you might be able to get, some help as far as sizing goes. Sometimes they'll tell you, if you're in between sizes, they'll advise you whether to size up or down. And some of them have a return policy if you do have to order online, to where you can just try it on and send it back. I know that's frustrating, but we're limited on some stuff, I'm sure.
Hey Bob, for the Prois company, they actually have a private Facebook group. It's called, I think it's like Prois Women in Virginia or something like that, and it's promoting the company, but also they offer different like hunting opportunities, clinics that they're sponsoring, things like that. So they may have one for every state. I don't know. We belong to the one in Virginia, and I think that you have to be invited. Yeah, because it's a private group. You have to be invited to that group. But I've enjoyed their post so far.
What was that? What was the name of the?
And two other. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Two other brands. Cabela's is selling, and now is She Outdoors, SHE Outdoors. And Orvis. I mean, if you're looking for upland bird hunting clothing, Orvis has that. Not so much camouflage stuff, but Orvis does have women's lines for upland bird hunting. Again, pricey. It's Orvis, but but good quality.
Yes, the pink tax is real. And it's not just on clothes either. I feel like anytime a product is made smaller, it somehow costs more. But yeah, so DSG is what I use because they are so I think pretty spot on with their size charts. So I find their clothes to be a little long, right? Like they don't really have a great like short line, but as far as like size, like hips and stuff, those are pretty accurate. So I just take mine to my friend who's a seamstress. That's her business, and she just basically removes 4 to 6 inches at the knees, and then because you don't want to mess with the zippers or the buttons at the hem. So you just basically get rid of the knee material and then reconnect it. Pro tip.
All right. I do appreciate, and everybody else that's listening, take heed to what they're saying. Just get out in the outdoors and have some fun. So, bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.